On this week's episode, I fix the troublesome E46 oil pump once and for all, and continue getting the engine ready to drop back in the car. Hello, and welcome to Project BMW Build Jekyll and Hyde on Throttle House. Today, we're going to install a Parkin Racing Developments oil pump. In case you didn't know, these engines right here have a huge oil pump issue, where the pump nut will actually back off, the sprocket will come, or the shaft will break, and you completely lose oil pressure on the track, and your engine's toast. Just like that. Very common if you spend a lot of time at the red line or if you raise the rev limiter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to install a heavily upgraded oil pump. There are a bunch of solutions, and I'm going to talk about why they don't really work that well, but I am going to take the oil pan off of this, and I'm going to install this Parkin Racing Developments oil pump, which I'll show you in just a second. Now, the engine's going to... Don't ask me why I have to pull the oil pan off with the engine on a proper engine stand. Didn't have the right bolts. It's kind of a... I can't turn it over. Long story. Anyway, we're going to be taking the oil pan off the bottom. And there is the other engine, which I'm going to use the oil pan from, because this is from a 540i. That's from this car. So you swap the oil pans, do the oil pump, and this engine is pretty much ready to go back in the car. I'm going to put some headers on it in another video. Let's do it. Alright, let's take a look at the Parkin Racing Developments oil pump. Okay, so this is a heavily upgraded pump. This shaft has been upgraded that goes through here. And instead of just a single nut that holds this sprocket on, we have these 3 bolts, which are going to be torqued down. This is not going to break. That's not going to come off. This should pretty much on its own solve the problem. Now, Tom actually takes these pumps and he refurbishes them and installs his parts on them. He's done a lot of research on what causes the oil pump failure, and he's pretty positive that it is lack of chain tension going down to the oil pump. Now he also supplies, which is right here, a chain guide, or another tensioner. I'll show you when I take the oil pan off. I don't have time to install this right now because this whole area here needs to come off, and you have to drill and tap for this tensioner, so I don't have a chance to do that, but this pump alone is going to make a huge difference, and I'm not going to have to worry about this on the track. But the full kit that he supplies includes actually installing a tensioner, okay? That's what he recommends is going to be the way to get rid of this. He's got guys running these on drift cars. They've been running them all season, and he hasn't had a single issue, no failures yet so far. Also, he's a fantastic guy. If you just talk to him, and he'll answer all your questions. He's always floating around on the E46 owners Facebook group. He's on the forums. He's a really helpful guy. Hit him up. He has a really good price on these things, and he hooked me up with this one for this season. So big shout out to Tom Parkin at Parkin Racing Developments. He's getting a sticker on my car for sure. We're going to remove the oil pan. It's fairly straightforward. There's a bunch of 10mm bolts that hold it on. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put down some stuff to protect the ground, because oil's going to go everywhere. There we go. Alright. We've seen worse oil pans. Here's the oil pump. Alright. Now, as Tom says, look at that. There is still there's a lot of slack in that chain. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't have time to take this off. I just don't. I have to get this car out of this garage very soon. This time attack is coming up. So, this is going to do for this season. I might do a full rebuild of this motor at some point, and when I do that, then I'll do the whole thing. Now this is a reverse threaded, and okay, so I think this 330 had a lot of mileage on it, and this nut isn't loose here, so whatever that tells you. And I got it from a guy who I'm pretty sure didn't drive it slowly. There's that. Now one of the things that is done is people will weld this nut on, or they'll put like some little ties on it, some little wire ties, but that's not really a permanent way of fixing this, unfortunately. Take the oil pickup off. That's just sitting in there. Before I actually Tom Parkin, there you are. All right, he told me 15 Newton meters on each bolt is enough, with a smiley face. Actually, I'm gonna tell him right now, hey, installing your oil pump, lol, smiley face, emoji, emoji, emoji. Okay, Parkin Racing Developments, upgraded oil pump is installed. That is what peace of mind looks like.
Is this supposed to line up to something?
All of a sudden it fits perfectly. All right.
Well, they're lined up, so.
Try not to move. Okay, swung this engine mount out of the way because it was getting in the way. That's why it's really, really hard to do this when it's in the car. I feel like I didn't have to do that last time, but that's what happens. Get to. It's gonna be like 10 minutes of sitting with a ratcheting wrench, just a little bit at a time. I'm not even gonna show you that, it's just gonna be boring for everybody. I'll see you guys in an hour. I don't want to do this. All right, so they are on. Torqued all these down. Tried to go back and forth to press the gasket cleanly. I just installed the O2 sensors. They go in these first two bungs here. Now, some people have a hard time, depending on the car, getting these O2 sensors to fit. I haven't had an issue with it, but I don't have a solution for you because I've never encountered the problem. These, like this one down here barely fits. It's pretty much touching that top header. All right. There's a lot of heat being moved around here too, so this isn't the best setup really, but it'll do for now. Now I'm going to keep these post-cat O2s capped off. That's my plan there. That's where the post-cat O2 sensors go. If you put those in, they will read, poor catalyst, or there's no catalyst, there's no cat, so they would be an error code for sure. So what some guys do is they extend these out at an angle so that you can get the O2 sensor out of the stream of exhaust gases to trick it, or you can actually just trick the ECU into thinking there are catalytic converters. Now I personally am going to install actual catalytic converters down the line. So I am still going to be legal and environmentally friendly, but I could, I suppose, move the wires further and put them into the cats down the line. But I am going to be running cats on both of these vehicles, so I got to keep it legal in Ontario. That's the plan. I installed a fresh pilot bearing and then slapped on a new clutch. This time I just went with a basic single mass flywheel and a clutch kit by luck. I still have a UUC flywheel, but for now it's staying in the drift car. This single mass flywheel gets rid of the annoying dual mass that's prone to failure, and it uses a sprung hub clutch, so no annoying self-adjusting pressure plate to deal with when installing. This is probably the most budget-friendly clutch replacement on these cars. If you watched the first couple episodes, you might remember that I put a mallet through my transmission. So I just grabbed another trans from the guys over at Speed Academy, because they went to a ZF for their current project car instead of this one.
You haven't got the spline in the center. There you go.
There she goes. Alright, that's pretty much it. This engine is, as far as I can think of, ready to go back in the car. I need to put some transmission fluid in here. I'm going to do that now while it's easy. Okay, there it is. That was a lot of work. I did pretty much everything you could do short of a proper rebuild. I'm going to torque these down. So you can see right there how the eBay headers don't line up. You have to extend that flanger, just like really crank on these to get them to fit with the exhaust. That is touching the mount there, so I don't know, that's gonna bend or crack. Something's gonna happen. That's what you get for $100 headers. I'm gonna delete the secondary air pump. I gotta get the plate for that. That I can do when it's in the car. Then I gotta block this hose off. Okay. Yeah, transmission is on. I think all the stuff is done in the wiring harness. Either way, this car's engine's ready to go back in the car. Next time on Project BMW Jekyll and Hyde, I go crazy with some more Condor Speed Shop goodies, including a control arm bushing with a hole that's not quite in the center. And then, if we're all lucky, the engine will be back in the car. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of Project BMW Jekyll and Hyde on Throttle House.